The first tip that I'd like to share with you is to remind you to remove your foot from the foot pedal once you have the speed you want. When you're centering, you should be centering at a medium speed. Then lift your foot off of the pedal so that you can maintain that speed and you don't accidentally accelerate as you're centering. If you change your speed when your hands are on the clay, you will knock your clay off center. So be very particular about removing your foot from that foot pedal to maintain your speed. The number one question I get from potters is, am I centered? There's a little trick to be able to tell if you're centered. You want to take your pointer finger, glide it along the outside edge of the form. If your pointer finger is bouncing up and down, you're off center. If it's standing still, then you're centered. So this is centered, and this is not. That is the easiest way to tell visually if you are centered. As a reminder, when you are throwing, your two hands are supposed to be used as one tool. That goes for every step of throwing, whether you are centering with your two centering positions, whether you are opening up the clay by placing one thumb on top of the other, whether you are establishing the base by dragging your thumb out towards your fingers. Your hands constantly stay together as one tool. When you're pulling up walls, your right hand holds the sponge on the outside, left hand, the thumbs touch, and you pull up together. You should always be using two hands as one tool. As a reminder on how to stay centered as you're pulling up walls, it really is about slow and steady winning the race. And I'm referring to your hands being slow and steady. You want to make sure that your hands are rested on your legs and that you are slowly traveling up the wall. When you're at the rim, slowly take your hands away. Make sure that you have moisture on the pot. I sometimes take a little bit of water, squeeze it over the rim, and gradually pull up, starting at the thickest part of the form. Again, once you arrive at the rim, do not take your hands away quickly. Slowly move them away. One thing that you want to keep track of as you're throwing is making sure that there's not too much water pooling in the bottom of your pot. So you want to take your sponge, make sure you wring it out, get your elbow up in the air, and slowly lower that sponge down. Hold the sponge still off to the right side. Do not move the sponge around. If you move the sponge around inside, you could knock your pot off center. And then just wring out your sponge and you're ready to go. One question I frequently get from first-year potters is, what is this tool used for? We will get to using the rib tool a lot more throughout the year, but its primary purpose for throwing is to remove moisture and to bring shape to the form. What's great about these red ribs is they bend really nicely, so you can actually bend the rib to whatever shape form you would like. So you dip the rib tool in water, have your fingers inside, and you can curve the rib tool around the outside. That will refine the exterior, removing moisture, and bring shape to your form.